Tell me how to be a nice, cold-hearted man.
Yes. It's when you take everything and then you bury it real deep down inside and you lock it up and you hold it there until it eventually goes away.
What's the
It
last
doesn't really
thing?
go away. It calcifies and then it sits there inert.
So you have like kidney stones of of anger. Do you remember the last
Yeah.
thing? Do you remember the last thing that you got like really upset about, or the last person you got really upset at?
Well, we've been in quarantine, so I haven't really seen that many people, right? Like I was at Omega League. I got upset at Rich at some point.
Because you're
I
just
was
being like a fuck boy.
yeah, I was trying to diet at WePlay. I lost a good amount of weight at WePlay. I was just like working out every day. Worked out every day. I did yoga every day, and I was dieting pretty well. Tried to only eat once a day. They had these like healthy meat, vegetable, rice bowl things that I would order every single day. And one of the days I asked for a cheesecake because they kept on bringing some stuff, but like they would bring some like snacks and stuff, and there would be like candies and stuff. I didn't want any of it. But there was one day where I was like, oh, I really want something sweet, and they were getting their like daily coffee run, and I asked for some sort of sugary doughy thing, you know. I said anything that is bread and sugar, like I'll take.
Okay.
And she came back with she texted me the Valerie, her talent manager, great talent manager. She texted me back and said they've got these cheesecake things, like these. It's basically a cheesecake in a bowl. And I was like, great, that sounds great. I'm really looking forward to that. It gets back halfway through. I'm casting a series, and so I'm just really looking forward to it. I'm like, all right, great. I'm gonna have this. That'll be the last thing that I eat for the rest of the day. So it'll be like 6 hours. I won't eat anything, and I'll go to sleep, and it'll all be good. And it was just a bad day in general. I was like tired and shit, and I go back to the break room, and Rich just tells me, "I ate your cheesecake." I start laughing. I'm like, "You're joking, right?" No, I ate your cheesecake. I was so mad at him. I wasn't like really mad at him, but I was just like generally kind of annoyed.
Is like
It's like, what the fuck, dude? Just ate my cheesecake.
it's shocking because that's something that like you would never do to someone else, right? Like you're just like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that's someone else's food. I probably shouldn't
Yeah,
eat that. They might want it. And Rich just like
yeah.
hasn't learned like those general social skills. Is that like the annoyance?
I actually kind of figured that because part of the thing is that like very often Valerie will just like get maybe some extra food of some kind and it's just there on the table and sometimes it's just free to eat. So I just kind of assumed that's what Rich meant by like the next day I was like, okay, he probably just ate my cheesecake. He was probably there, didn't realize it, ate it. Somebody told him that was my cheesecake and that he ate it. So the next day I had Valerie bring two of them back. And then I had one of I said, Rich, this is your cheesecake.
A little Sharpie and just write his name on it. Man, that's
So
I've been trying to think of the last time I've been mad at someone. I think the only person I've really been mad at recently is just myself. Is that sad?
not really. I mean, do you think it's healthier to get mad at yourself or others? If you had a choice between the two.
I guess I would choose myself. I see a lot of people who just get mad at people for silly reasons, and then I just think like, oh, I think I'm better off than them. I think I'm more emotionally controlled than them. Um,
It's probably Dota. to Dota, I get mad at people all the time. But,
dude,
you know.
my behavior score is a constant 10,000. I'm a
So it's mine.
constant 10,000 gamer.
I,
I'm only
I pretty
one
much,
game
like,
with a
almost
Valve employee away from being sent to low priority.
Hey, Dota breaks people, man. Dota breaks even the most intelligent, reasonable, mature. It just, it breaks adults.
I guess it breaks people, man. Did you follow that this weekend?
I did. Let me real quickly just say that I experienced a pub recently where it started off with like these two guys bitching at each other. Well, actually, it started off with somebody having their icon mid, and then another guy who was higher rated said, "No matter what you pick, I'm going to pick a mid and go mid." And the guy just responded, "Same," and then second picked Ember Spirits. So that's how the game started. Then the offlane duo were bitching at each other, and I just fucking lost my shit. I was just like, everyone, just shut the fuck up. Stop acting like goddamn children. Because like the thing is like I'm 30, so I'm well an adult at this point. But I also know the people that I'm playing with, they're not children.
No
That's
no
the thing about
Dota
playing
is.
Dota is like nobody under the age of 16 is playing Dota. They're all playing a much newer game. Nobody's playing this old ass game. So everybody that I'm in the game with is very likely over the age of 16, if not over the age of 18. And they're just fucking acting like goddamn bitchy little kids. And I had to step in and be dad and yell at them and yeah, I mean, and then people shut up and stop whining so much, and then we lost the game. So then they started whining and bitching a bunch again. But yeah, like Dota just breaks people, it breaks the best of people, and obviously that happened with
Sean Veneman.
Sean Veneman. Okay, so the thing is, I have to come out and say,
I
think
love
I've met
Sean Veneman. Oh, okay.
I
you
think
should
I've met Sean in person.
Probably. I mean, I think
But-
he joined Valve after Firewatch, right? So there's been a couple years he's been around at least, and you've been like at events at like TI and stuff. It would make sense.
I feel like I've met him in person because I know a lot more about him. Because like I've played with him online, I've talked to him online, like we played other non-Dota games together.
Okay.
Let me say, I really like Sean. Like, so this is going to be completely biased. So I'm not going to hide it at all. Like, I really like Sean. So I totally understand losing your shit and like banning somebody. And I more than likely, I kind of assume that person probably had it coming, even if it maybe wasn't the best idea to ban somebody. I also know that like Valve, like I have specifically had a Valve employee talk to me about like, hey, like we know you guys like complain about the matchmaking server and stuff. Like, let us know if you have like instances of like people you can point to and be like, hey, this guy deserves a ban. Like, but I see him in games all the time. Like, this was some really ban-worthy behavior. And like, I like because I know that's kind of like a weird position. But like I know what the idea is to be able to improve the matchmaking algorithm and see what's being missed in like the report system and stuff. So like I try and handle that really responsibly and only put forward people that I feel like are like, okay, this guy like went really far over the line. I don't really see, like I keep seeing him, like I don't really get reports and stuff like that. This wasn't like a highly varied matchmaking game or something like that.
Like it's easy for like the robots can detect racial slurs, they can detect feeding down mid, they can probably detect like breaking items, like stuff like that. The robots
they can't detect like on mic stuff.
Yeah,
that's one thing, right? Voice communication, which people say like, oh well, they just get reported enough. Believe me, the higher level echelon of matchmaking, I've talked to people about this. Like people save their reports for like fucking shit that they really fucking like. You can say as much fucking god awful shit on the microphone, but as long as you don't feed, very likely you're not gonna get reported. You'll just get muted, and people are just gonna ignore you because like we save the fucking reports for the real feeders, like the people who really game ruin. So like people don't report the shit that like is very reportable. So where was this all leading to? So I understand that that there was a reason at some point in time to probably have the power to be able to ban. This obviously blew up and is not a good look for Valve or Sean.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I empathize a little bit too, I guess for people who don't know what was happening because they don't follow the Dota subreddit every day, and I didn't either for like 24 hours until someone pointed my attention to it. And they're like, "Hey, you should look at this," and I'm like, "What?" And I'm like, "Oh, I should go on the internet." I was like playing Persona for like all day and riding my bike, and I get back home into a bunch of messages. Basically, there was someone who thought that they were unjustly banned because they had a high behavior score, and by banned, like sent to low priority and stuff. And they're like, "Oh, well, I played with someone who was a Valve employee, and I think that they just pulled the trigger on me." And basically that thread on Reddit was taken down originally because the initial accusation didn't have really enough or any proof to what was saying, and it was kind of witch hunting from the start. Then the thread was reinstated because the person who was making the accusations provided more information, and we're like, okay, this is a legitimate claim. This looks good enough to keep up, right, and to have discussion on. And then the post was locked because people were just being really shitty inside the thread. And then eventually the thread got unlocked because we learned that someone was going to apologize because it was true. And then that person did apologize. And then we got an entire new thread to point to the apology because it was 15 hours since the original post happened. And there was also a whole side plot and side contingent of people who were complaining about the subreddit moderators for the point in time, which, yes, I am, for the point in time when the thread was removed to check for verification, that were, Nazi censoring heathen fucks.
True.
God.
True.
The people who are in that thread.
Let me just say about the Reddit modding from my perspective is that the only complaint I've ever had about the Dota 2 moderating was when they didn't remove a thread, which says a lot, I think.
I'll take that.
I felt like a thread should have been removed because it was being real shitty to me. But it didn't.
It's hard
and I did not know Joey at the time, so I couldn't, play my connections in order to disappear criticism into the shadow realm, and
which doesn't happen. I'm gonna be very, very upfront and say that Austin is making a joke that doesn't.
I'm definitely making it.
Doesn't happen. It's okay. No one would even dare. There's a no Reddit rule, right? That's still probably in effect. I think maybe, I don't really know. Point being, the people who make those threads that complain about like censorship and the mods and everything's so wrong, always the exact same group of people. It's super uncanny. And the fun thing now is that over the last couple of years, Reddit released tools where you can kind of tag users, and you can share those tags with other moderators on the subreddit. So the more people who interact in those similar threads, it's like this harem that have like a little scarlet letter next to their name. So super fun.
I really need to utilize those things more. I think I have it I think I used to use it or something like that. It used to tell me when I had downvoted somebody's response. So I would always be able to, when I did use it, I don't remember what I used. I'm not sure why I don't use something like that now, but I would see somebody who had I downvoted 5 times before and been like, oh, okay, well, I don't really care about that person's opinion. It actually gives you it gives you, I think, a much better look at the community when you're like, oh, I just disagree with that person on a fundamental level, or more likely that person just fucking hates me and always has something negative to say. So all right, whatever.
Yeah, you
You
can do
know.
that with downvotes and if like through like RAS tracking, or someone like you who probably gets more interaction directly to yourself than a lot of other people do because you're am I a celebrity? The that look though, yeah, right there, that guy. It's that guy.
This guy's a celebrity.
Um, I tag people who consistently give me like intentionally negative or provocative responses just so that I know to like, hey, this is like a pattern of behavior and I shouldn't engage with these people because it's not in good faith. Which helps keep me a little bit sane. To know like who are people who are just there to be trolls. But you know what I don't do? I don't
What?
just ban people on a whim if I think that they did a shitty job. I don't do that.
It's God. It's really turned into a full meme now because now I see the one of the highly upvoted threads got banned from matchmaking until 2038, and since it's about banning, you can guess it. Top rated comments. Did you play with and mildly annoy a Valve employee, perhaps? Ban him and banning some more people before he gets fired.
I can only. I'm generally not a fan of the people who have the take of that person should be fired. I think that's just generally
That's crazy.
That's generally a really shit take and just like way too extremist. I mean, you can even tie that into cancel culture too. Like, why are we being so finite about this? I think that changing the way that they internally do this stuff or having a system of checks and balances or there's probably ways to make sure this doesn't happen. And I'm sure if this is the first time that it's happened and people have like complained about it, that has to mean that it's happened unjustly before, be it other people, I would assume, or maybe even Sean himself. Or maybe this is the very first time that it was unjustly used and it was called out. I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it. I mean, one thing is, I think it's more likely that these are one of the first instances because you think about it, the pool of matchmaking that Valve employees would be playing around. They are playing with other Americans or potentially SA players. But if they're from North America, then they're more likely to use Reddit. Therefore, they're more likely to make some sort of complaint on Reddit about that sort of thing, which Valve is more likely to see in the first place. So, would it be funny though if it's just Gabe? If just Gabe did that. Gabe just went all fucking like, nah, you deserved it. Go fuck yourself.
He probably doesn't even care anymore, honestly. I wonder what kind of a hit that could give to his reputation.
I think that's actually the only thing that Gabe cares about at this point in time.
His like public
probably
persona.
Reputation. Yeah. I mean, like if you think about it, you've already kind of like you probably already did everything that you kind of set out to do.
He has more money than
with
God,
creating
presumably.
Valve. You've got insane amounts of money, so you could do whatever you want to do outside of what your job is. I feel like all that's left is like legacy and reputation and those kind of like vague community type things. I feel like that's all you would care about. If I was in Gabe's position, that would probably be all I would care about.
I couldn't imagine. Like, I feel like the people who, aside from the person who was, put in a low priority unjustly, I think the people who have the most right to be annoyed is probably Sean's coworkers, because now they all like, look a little bad too, and there's suspicion cast on everybody because of the actions of one, right?
Yeah, maybe. I feel like most people are just clowning on Sean, though. I don't think I feel like I haven't really seen any comments about like, oh yeah, all Valve employees or something like that. Most people are just clowning on Sean, which therefore I'm sure is a little awkward in work environment type thing. But,
they're all working.
I mean, whatever, man. Like, as far as listen, fucking Blitz is the biggest piece of shit in pubs sometimes, but I know like Blitz is a great guy. I 100% know that. I know Blitz is like an amazing human being and is incredibly generous with so many things, but you get him in the fucking wrong Dota game and he's going to be a real asshole, And I think that Dota is either special that way or Dota players are special that way, where Dota just seems to be a release of some kind. I know, like, I feel like I'm a pretty decent person, but like I can get mean in Dota. I can get real bad. And it's like, you're going to see the worst side of me when it comes to Dota. The absolute worst side of me comes from Dota. So, like, whatever. I don't think it really changes how I view Sean anyway, personally. And I don't know. I just assume this will blow over like all
maybe he has to
drama things do.
Maybe. Well, I mean, I think we needed a good meme for 2020 because can you think of a good 2020 Dota meme? There really hasn't been a ton, stuff.
So. Yeah, no TI, no True Sight. So like we don't have the content that really goes around. The biggest meme is Sir Action Slack starting a cult. That's about it.
Yeah, that's and now we got Sean. So we got a meme.
Speaking of Sir Action Slacks, I'm working with Slacks on something upcoming.
What are you doing?
This hasn't been announced anywhere, but it's on our podcast. Nobody's going to know anyway. Slacks and I are going to be doing a For Honor tournament.
For Honor?
Do you know what For Honor is?
I know that's an Ubisoft game that is at least 3 years old.
Yes. You are completely on the money there. 100% right. I think it came out in 2017, so I'm pretty sure you were right on the money.
Go team. What? You're just cast. Is there no established casters? There's no one who like is in the amateur For Honor scene. You're just like, hey, I'm gonna come here with my big dick Dota energy and just plant my flag into your.
I might kind of be what I'm doing. I don't want to go into that too much, but basically, as far as I know, they're trying to like bring some eyes and shake things up. Because For Honor doesn't really have much a competitive scene to begin with. Mm-hmm. Their esports scene kind of died away over the first year or two. So now it seems like maybe a fresh take on things. So Slacks and I are going to be involved in the tournament. And so I've been trying to learn For Honor. It's going to be the first time I have casted a tournament where I am woefully below. I am clearly the noob because I've casted other games outside of Dota. But I've always had some sort of leg up. So like, for example, like when I did the PAX run 2 or 3 times, like I was casting some game called like Dreadnought and Grey Goo, but those were new games. So nobody else had played them either. So I at least was able to like, pick up on it, play it for an hour or two, and then I would be casting it like all day long. And so I would get to learn more. So I do more than the people watching, but like this will be the first time that I'm like way below the knowledge level that I would expect casters to be at. So
I should be a better friend and play For Honor with you. I think that's...
You're more than welcome to. Slacks is going to be doing it too. We've got another caster who is not Dota related, who's also going to be new and learning with us. And I've got about a week and a half to grind this game and learn it well enough that I could commentate it. And let me just say, I took up this opportunity because I thought it was interesting, and I thought the game was kind of interesting, and it is complex on like in different ways to Dota. And it does seem to have a community that reminds me of Dota, more of like early Dota 1 or early Dota 2 days, where it's like very small, niche, and tight-knit, but very passionate fans. So a lot of things kind of reminded me of Dota, which is kind of why I took it up. But I'm it's going to be fun. I'm just going to YOLO it, but I am not looking forward to...
Or do you have to go somewhere?
Yeah, I'm doing it from home. It's all remote broadcast.
Are you going to be on camera?
Yes, I am.
Okay, what are you going to do with this background situation?
Green screen.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Okay, that's...
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't have to worry about that. Why would you were you going to change my background for me, Joey? What would you do?
I was just gonna recommend some like light interior design because I mean I'm no Mr. Ubisoft, but if I was coming back here and I'm like, hey man, do we really gotta have the can of Pledge in the background and the printer? Like, I mean, can we at least like maybe
That's my product placement right there. Okay? Buy Pledge.
Dude.
Damn, it was Pledge. I actually wanted to check to make sure you are right. Good job, Joey. You know you're. This is how I know you clean your place occasionally.
I'm actually just a real sucker for hanging out in Targets and just reading all the brand labels. You know.
That's how you pick up ladies.
Yes. You know.
Oh, you are also going for the Pledge. I'm sorry, you first.
It's way easier to do that with the Febreze. That's generally where I find the most success.
I mean, it does initially show certain things, right? That you are a eligible bachelor who actually goes out and does look to have some maintenance of the place, which leads into other things. You probably have a certain amount of like pride in yourself and the place that you have. You know, you maybe are cleanly in some manner, at least bare minimum. It says a lot of things, a lot of attractive attributes put in there.
The thing is, though, is that you have to convert on it with the words that come out of my mouth and things like, oh yeah, you know, fuck the patriarchy, I clean also. You know, that's not what you want to lead with, or like
male feminist. Okay, other attributes. Keep going.
No, I'm not doing a good job picking up on any ladies.
Well, how did the refrigerator joke go?
Thank you. I went back to physical therapy on Friday for my hand, and oh man, I should have prepared so that I knew fuck who
what the joke was. Oh, who said it?
Yeah, I know. This is so. I mean, this is live production. Everybody, I'm in the middle. I have to scroll my Twitter feed right now. Won't even edit this.
Joey said a raffle. The Duke of Dota.
The Duke of Dota. Thank you. The Duke of
Wait,
Dota.
No, that's not the one.
Fuck, that's the wrong one.
That's not the
I
one.
didn't use that one.
You went for the hang up on the fridge, right? You did the hang up on the fridge?
I did.
Okay. The pancakerizer.
The pancakerizer.
That's him.
All right.
When at the ultrasound, ask if you can get a picture for the fridge. Which I thought that was very smart.
I definitely said their name wrong. Yeah. So I went up. I was gonna get my finger ultrasounded. It was gonna be the end of the session. I just did some good stretching. We had a good conversation about, you know, living close to the beach and the ocean gloom, and you know, we talked a little bit about what other, you know, kind of physical therapy she does, or if it's weird having to touch a lot of hands now because, you know, mid COVID, we were having like a good conversation about like, you know, cleanliness. You know, things that everybody wants to talk about. And
so there's a back and forth there. This is good.
Yeah. And I'm like, go over, I'm going to sit down for the ultrasound. She squirts the little bit of gel on the knuckle of my right pinky. I lay it on the side. She puts it on and she's like, does it tingle? And I'm like, a little bit. She's like, is it uncomfortable? I'm like, no. It's fine. I think it's doing its job. And she's like, cool. And then I'm like, you know, we keep on having conversation through the middle of the ultrasound. We were actually talking about socks, which is very different from
thrilling
hands.
And intimate conversation.
Hey man, I pride myself in being able to have a conversation about most things. And if you want to have Joey tip here, if you're going somewhere that you don't know a lot of people and you want to have an easy conversation starter, wear silly socks. A lot of people will notice. You're laughing. I'm being serious. A lot of people.
I thought you were going to say pack an extra pair of socks. And so I was just like, where is this going?
Hey man, you know, sometimes you need extra underwear because you had to be prepared for emergency, right? And sometimes feet, they're sweaty, so extra socks. No one wants sweaty socks. Sometimes when I'm going places where I don't know a lot of people, I wear more of my silly pairs of socks because people will notice them and then they'll be like, whoa, cool socks. And then I'll be like, yeah, thanks, Joey. What's your name?
Incredible.
Pro tip. We're talking about socks. We're talking about Steel Wool, which is a brand that I would highly recommend. I believe they're from the Pacific Northwest, like all good clothing, I guess. And then ultrasound's going over. We finished our conversation about socks, and she's like, how'd that feel? And I'm like, oh, it's a little tender. Can I get a picture for the fridge? And she looked over at me and she's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, to hang up so I can put it on the fridge. She's like, what are you? Oh.
It's good she got it on her own.
Yeah,
because if you had to explain it, it gets a little awkward. But she got it on her own, which is good.
She got there, and then she smiled, and she said, "Yeah, I'll text it to you." And then I'm like, "Okay, this is going one of two places. Where are we gonna go with this?" And I'm like, and I said, "Oh, you can get my number off my chart." Unless you want to give me yours.
Okay, good.
And then she said, I have 2 children.
And did you follow that up?
And I said, wow, you look so young. And she said, yeah, I'm 39.
Oh, no. I mean, how old are you, Joey?
27.
Okay, that's a little far.
She has a career. She's well established. She might own property.
Yeah. You didn't keep going past that?
No, the trail went cold.
You didn't say something like, I've always wanted to be a stepfather?
No, I don't really think that's in the cards for me right now, honestly. I don't know if that's what I'm looking for.
I mean, she did say, I have 2 kids, not I have a husband or I have a boyfriend.
That's true. You're right.
So it sounds like to me she was putting up this is who I am. You can back out now if you want to. Which you did, Joey. You broke her heart.
Maybe I did. I also couldn't imagine. I have to go see her again.
Yeah,
like therapy's not over.
So there's still more opportunities.
There's a couple more sessions. So maybe, but yeah, I think that trail might have gone cold. Also, I might have made a pass at someone at their job, which I think is rude. I don't know.
True.
Probably not the optimal place to actually have that conversation. I don't know where else that conversation would happen though. So,
I'm a believer. Listen, I know it's just like I see it all the time on the internet. You never hit on somebody at their job or anything like that because it puts them in an awkward position, and I don't disagree with that. But like, listen, man, like. And for some people, like you either meet people when you're on the job or they're on the job. And, you just, as long as you aren't like super intrusive or weird about it, shoot your shot.
Was I
don't blame
intrusive?
you for that
I don't
at
know
all.
if I was intrusive. I'll continue to follow up next time after. Actually, I'm not seeing.
I mean, it was smooth. It was, it was a light attempt. You saw an opportunity. It was smooth. You took it, and all right, no big deal. You backed out.
I was happy with myself that I even made the attempt because honestly, if I'm being really honest, I don't know if 2 to 4 years ago me would have even done that. I would have been like, "This is awkward. I can't say anything." But instead, I think in 2020, I just stopped learning to care about anything and just take more completely high gamble chances.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I went through that at some point as well, where I had a hard time pulling that trigger. I still did, but it would take me a long time. And then I got to a point where I was just like, fuck it. And yeah, like it probably some of it is just like moving to a different country, not knowing anybody, working a job where I only meet people for a very brief amount of time and they're gone. It's pretty much like you got to shoot your shot because you got 3 days and otherwise you're never going to see them again potentially. So
Yeah. I don't know. It was a Friday. I'm 2 weeks out. Nothing this week because of the holiday, but I'm 2 weeks out.
all right,
We'll
two side pull podcasts, and we'll get the follow up to this story.
we'll figure it out. Are you this week's Thanksgiving for everyone who is in America, which is only about half of the people who listen actually. We're very worldwide and cultured. I think that we have a lot of, wise words for our diverse international audience.
When I was in Germany, my family would sometimes ask me, "So are you guys celebrating Thanksgiving?" I was just like, "All right, let's think about that for 5 seconds, shall we? Am I celebrating Thanksgiving in Europe? Is Europe celebrating Thanksgiving? Let's think about that one for a little bit longer." No, I'm not celebrating Thanksgiving in Germany.
Sorry, Mom. Sorry to disappoint you.
But
are you gonna do anything out of the ordinary for a Thanksgiving dinner?
Ellie is actually my family always did Thanksgiving. It's one of the holidays that I'm kind of okay with. I know I went over the holidays last time and said fuck them, fuck them, fuck them. Like Christmas is only the only good one, but like Thanksgiving's not that bad. It's basically Thanksgiving as an excuse. Yeah, it's pre-Christmas. You go, you see your family, and you have a big dinner. Like it's very simple and it's very, I think, relatively wholesome, unless somebody dies of a heart attack. That's not wholesome. But other than that, pretty decent holiday. So we always we always did Thanksgiving when I was living with my mom with Ellie, and then once we moved down here to California, Ellie decided to take up Thanksgiving all on her own. She made like 10 different courses our very first Thanksgiving, just the two of us, and
that's
it was
a lot
great.
of food for 10 people. That's a lot of food for 2 people.
We gave some away to Charlie. But then last year we had some friends over for Thanksgiving, and I was going to invite you.
You did invite me.
Thanksgiving.
You did invite me.
I invited you last time, and I was just going to invite you. I don't know if we've cut off that part of the podcast where you said you were going to your families.
Probably.
I was going to invite you to this one, but since you're seeing your family. GG. I'm trying to keep it small, though. So... Basically, I'm saying, Joey, you can come to ours, but you have to choose between your family's Thanksgiving or ours.
If I could probably have more fun at yours.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have to worry about, so am I going to have to worry about someone talking about Ben Shapiro tonight? So,
That's fun.
And,
have you heard about this 5% thing? This is a hot political talk now.
No. What?
Yeah, it's the latest of weird political shit on Twitter. 5% is either the WHO recommendations that lockdown can be avoided if 95% of people wear masks. So there's people tagging themselves up on Twitter with 5%. Indicating they would be the 5% that wouldn't wear a mask if asked to. Like, why?
Man,
I'm flabbergasted that there's somebody that feels that strongly about fucking wearing a mask.
Can I? You know what? Speaking of masks, and this is very impromptu. Hold on one second.
All right. But yeah, if you guys are listening, just wear a fucking mask. It's not that goddamn hard. It's only good for people around you if you were to wear a mask. It only helps. Very important during this time.
I want to go ahead. You could have said whatever you wanted about me. Yeah. I have to go find out.
Yeah, I was talking about your butt.
Um, it's nice. It's actually kind of big, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like thick with 3 C's, and it's actually kind of muscular too, which is nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
you've been doing those squats.
I'm just gonna say, I know I have a naturally voluptuous butt.
Oh.
Yeah, my mom used to call it Pop Tart booty. I don't know how I feel about that as a grown adult, but
What does that mean?
I don't know. I
You
can't.
just eat a lot of Pop Tarts, therefore you got a big booty?
I actually had to stop eating Pop Tarts because they gave me indigestion, but I'm a big fan of the original unfrosted strawberry, if you're curious. Also brown sugar, cinnamon. Anywho,
I don't like Pop Tarts.
Pop Tarts are kind of gross, especially the psychopaths who eat them not warm. Masks.
See your mask.
I
Yes.
found what I'm going to claim is the best mask that I've worn through the entirety of quarantine by a long shot. Like I've tried a bunch of different styles of masks, and while I can wear most of them for like an outing or to walk into a store for 10 minutes if I'm going to the market, I haven't found one that's been like exceptionally comfortable to wear for an extended period of time. And I think it's because I have a bigger face, the way my ears are. I don't know. I'm probably just a fucked up, not a normal person. But I found these masks from Tom Bin, BIHN, and they're my new favorite. They got like a little neck strap, right? Tom Bin, BIHN.
Okay.
They're the V3s for anyone who's not watching the video version, which you can on YouTube, YouTube side poll. There's a little neck strap, so when you unhook it from your ears, it's like a little crumb catcher. If you're eating, it's like a little trough now for all of your food to fall into, so you don't make a mess.
It's a lot grosser, but yeah, go on.
It's a nice little crumb catcher. If you go ahead and put it on, the ear straps are flexible like a normal mask that are like a disposable mask, which is nice.
Yeah.
And they're not and they fit, and they're like the right level of flex. You can also adjust them. There's a nice nose clamp. The material is pretty thick, and it covers a lot of your face. Like the majority of my face is covered, so I got all the way up to the nose, all the way underneath the chin, like towards my neck. And it's pretty thick too, so I feel like there's a lot of fabric between me and the outside world. But in terms of just sheer wearability for an extended period of time and general comfort, I have not found anything that's beaten it. It's not the most sexy mask I've ever worn. It looks like I'm wearing some kind of a horse muzzle. And it muffles my voice a little bit because I'm sure you can tell there's a couple fabric layers. But
there's 3 layers.
What's that?
There's 3 layers.
There's 3 layers.
To the website. 3 layers.
At the end of the day, if someone's been like me and has been unhappy with most of their masking experience and they haven't found a mask that they like, I would highly encourage you to look for the Tom Bin masks and place an order. Also, from the Pacific Northwest.
I have a problem with that. Most masks are just not big enough for me comfortably.
Big enough which way?
I will take you up on this. Covering the whole face and not smushing the nose too much or anything.
Big.
Yeah, it looks. I'm gonna order one right now because I feel like the Side Pole podcast is gonna make it so that the website crashes. So I gotta get mine now.
I recommend the V3s over the V4s. I've tried both.
Okay.
The V4s are made with like a little bit more of a flannel material. That gets a little bit warmer, and I think like traps the condensation a little bit more if you use it for a long period of time. Even though it's a tear softer, it's a little bit smaller. You're probably gonna want the large one, because I'm wearing a large one right now. So yeah, so if I convinced you to buy a mask, let us know. So that I can go.
We'll let Tom Bin know.
So I can go let Tom Bin know that we
demand our 50 cents.
We move product on the Side Pole podcast, right?
Yeah.
We move product. Sponsors, come to me. You see that ad read? I'll do that. Look at that. Look at that ad read. That wasn't even. Look at that.
Oh, it's totally improv. Incredible.
Yeah, I highly recommend that mask. I don't know how we got talking about masks. Oh, the 5%. I'm part of the 95% because I wear my Tom Bin mask. Wink.
Good. I went to the grocery store today. I wore a mask.
Congratulations.
As did everybody I saw. But then again, I don't really see a whole lot of people not wearing masks when I'm out and about.
We're in a weird part. I'm convinced that we're in like a weirder part of the world where people are cool.
Yeah,
California.
I hear like protests are happening. No, I mean protests are happening here by a bunch of people protesting the curfew thing that just happened. We just went in curfew in California.
Yeah, that's down in Huntington
We're not
Beach.
allowed to. Yeah, I see these things that I see but I like on the internet I see them, but I never see them in person. And it's just kind of like I feel like I'm living in this bubble.
It's because we are.
Wear masks and try and distance from each other, and
It's because we are. Man, I see. Before we take off, I got one more question for you. I see the lighthouses for the Index nicely packed away now. Before they were up in your living room. Did they become just a nuisance for you or the cat, or did you or did you finish your playthrough of any Vive games?
I have not finished, Joey. And if whenever you want it back, just let me know. You can have it back anytime you want, but I haven't finished it yet. I put it away to clean, to scrub the floors.
Okay.
So.
This wasn't me asking because I want my toy back. I want to be very clear about that this wasn't like a pressure statement. I do.
I look at it, I'm just like, oh man, I really should be playing Alex. And then I'm like, I got into these other things I want to do. And yeah, now I'm trying to now I've gone the For Honor thing. So like now any of my side time, I'm just like, I'm trying to play this game and trying to figure it out as quick as possible. And I'm listening, I'm like watching, I'm like, you know what I do? I play a game and then I also watch a video, which is, I'm currently 6 hours through. It's 8 hours and 23 minutes of watching a qualifier with commentary from this YouTuber and a bunch of pros, and they're saying a bunch of shit that I don't understand while playing the game and losing. It's a very, very humbling experience, let me just say, because at the same time I'm playing Dota and I'm doing really well. I'm like actually very close to getting to 7.5k, which I think is pretty fucking impressive for a play-by-play commentator. If I can get 7.5k playing 5 position, I'd be pretty fucking happy with that. But and then I'm like, man, I'm the shit. Fucking somebody should hire me so I can demonstrate the good shit that I am. And then I play this fucking For Honor game, and I just a total dog shit, and I don't understand what they're saying. What the fuck are they talking about? Oh my god, I have to cast this game in less than 2 weeks.
I won't be shy about asking for the Index back, but I am gonna start doing check-ins now to see if you make any progress.
That's good. That's good.
Maybe you'll feel some kind of responsibility for it. Yes. I did, in related way too expensive video game news, I didn't quite get a PS5, but I've been leeching off my roommate who did get a PS5.
Oh.
And I've had very limited interaction with it. I borrowed it for like about a day to play some of the games that come preloaded on it, and just kind of suss what's going on with it. And I have mixed feelings about the new PS5 controller.
Oh.
So
is it different than previous PlayStations? Because I just remember PlayStation controllers have mostly stayed the same.
You should look it up. You should look up the PS5 controllers. You can see it is mostly the same, but it has a couple of new key differences. You're like,
that's different.
You're like, what's that? It's white. Ugh.
Did they change it for 4?
No,
I'm not sure if I've seen. 4 is normal. Yeah, 4 has the screen in the middle. I remember that now.
Yes.
Yeah, that's different. PlayStation has been old faithful. They just don't change the controller layout because they're like, this is good enough.
It's pretty
consistent. Finally changed it.
It's pretty consistent. The big selling point of this is that they added a lot more, not really motion sense, but haptic feedback to the controller. So instead of just like traditional rumble, It's more like the Wiimotes where they have like very precise rumbling. So it can like rumble down in the bottom of the controller or up in the middle, and it can like you can really feel the different rumblings that are going on. And also the triggers have resistance to them that can be set. So if you're like pulling a trigger for different guns, they can be different resistances. If you're trying to, arc a bow and arrow or hold something down, like the controller fights you a little bit. And while in theory, I was really excited to try this out because I'm always a fan of, new experiences. I just couldn't help but feel kind of weird about it, and kind of like I didn't want to fight the controller. And now I want to play more PS5 games to see if I can figure out if I like this or not. I know that it's the setting that you can turn off, but
what games are there to play anyway?
So they don't have a ton of exclusive launch titles. The stuff that's big and people will point to is Demon Souls, the remaster, came out.
Okay.
Spider-Man Miles Morales, which is like the Spider-Man, 1.5. It's not like a full length game. I mean, it's full length, but like it's a little bit smaller in scope than the original PS4 title. People are playing Bug Snacks. There's a game that comes preloaded on the console that's like a love letter to Sony. That's like free. That's called Astro's Playground, which really shows off like all the new controller functionality, and like it's kind of a trip down Sony memory lane, which is cool. There's quite a few things. There's nothing I think that's like super duper marquee. There's not like, oh dude, there's like a new Uncharted game or a new Last of Us. Like there isn't like one of those. There's no like Mario-esque.
The controller looks to me, the white on black color scheme that it has, it looks to me like an Xbox controller is in the process of eating a PlayStation controller. Because it's white. It's white and thicker, but it still has the black part there in the middle. Yeah.
I'm someone who, plays enough Sony games that are first party that I'll eventually get a PS5. If I can wait a year or a little bit more, I'll be happier. I'll just keep leeching off, others until then. But it's just it's so big, and I don't know if I like the controller, and I just know I'm gonna have to buy one to play the games that I want.
Well, we at this point in time, I think I'm gonna get a PlayStation eventually because I know Ellie wants one. But until there's some like real catalog of games that I'm actually interested in playing, I don't think I'm gonna be touching it. That being said, there's not a whole lot else to do because there's no fucking patch. Just sitting here, just fucking waiting.
It's probably
like now. You know what? Now I'm just say it right now. Now I'm hearing rumors that DPC might be starting up soon. I'm just gonna like put that out here because I'm just exhausted by like not knowing. Okay, I do not talk to like Valve people. Okay, I never ask these sort of questions. I'm fine with being totally blind. So these rumors I'm hearing like from somebody else, like potentially DPC could be starting. Potentially? What do you mean potentially? It could be conflicting with like some other tournaments and shit. Like, can Valve just decide when they're doing it and just let the rest of us know? Particularly tournament organizers, talent and players would love to know as well. But like, come on, man! Like, I'm so tired. This Corona is not going away anytime soon. Can we please just plan around that now and do something with it? Can we have a new patch and DPC? That's the Thanksgiving miracle that I'm waiting for, Joey. Tomorrow is Tuesday. The Side Pool podcast releases Tuesday. Office hours start in Valve. Tuesday is typically patch day. Please make it a Thanksgiving miracle. Let us finally get a patch and word on the DPC and get it all together so I can just fucking have some idea what's going on because there's nothing else going on in my life.
Well, I mean,
Wait,
you can't, if you have a patch right now, that'll really ruin your For Honor studying.
I only care so much about this.
Dude, I
Nobody linked this clip to the For Honor subreddit.
Gonna cut that.
No, it's fine. Leave it in. Honestly, I think it's going to be kind of like, I'm looking forward to this because I'm looking forward to being the noob, and I'm going to be very open about it. You know, I don't think there's any other way you approach a community like that. You don't try and act like you know what you're doing. You just come in there open and honest and say like, hey, I got hired to do this. I'm going to give it my absolute best shot. I am doing all the studying I can. I'm even going to be contacting pro players to talk to them about the game. I'm doing all the things that I know Red Eye did coming into Dota. And he did a very good job. Obviously, his position was a bit different. Host, you don't have to know these things. But it's funny. I think he did a very good job integrating himself into a community that I think is very difficult to be a part of, get into. The Dota community is notoriously toxic to outsiders. So I think that he did a really good job. So I'm just thinking of all the things that he did and trying to emulate those own steps in my own way.
I'm looking forward to, I feel like not only do you have to cast that event, I have to watch now and do homework so that I can properly talk about what
I mean, Slacks is going to be hosting the events. You know it's going to be fun. You know it's going to be fun to watch, at least the in-between times. And plus, honestly, I find For Honor actually kind of a fun game to watch. I'd never watched it before because I primarily only watched Tier 1 esports. And For Honor, like, obviously never came close to that. Outside of that, Smash Melee is like the only other game that like I'll really watch, or maybe some of the FGC, just because I think their commentators are really good. But like, so I never watched For Honor, and I'm just now watching it, and it's actually pretty fun. It's fun to watch. It's very like visceral, you know. You're just watching knights and samurai and Vikings like smash each other's heads, and it's pretty fun.
Hell yeah! And what is it again? Remind me when that is.
The game or the date?
The date. When are you doing this?
That'll be December 5th.
December 5th. Okay. So you still got a week and change to cram. You got this.
Yes.
No patch until then. No patch. No Thanksgiving.
I'm okay with the patch, Joey.
I'm okay with the full honor.
I'd still be okay with the patch. I can manage two things at once. I've got enough free time in my schedule. You can see my cat's going insane, by the way.
Yeah,
she's now up there on the bookshelf because I didn't let her out. She came down and pawed at me. She wanted to be let out, and I didn't do that. So now she's going insane, and now she's going to knock over that panda. So as a fuck you to the world, I guess.
Is she gonna? I mean, I'm just want to see if she's gonna fall off, or if she's gonna jump all the way off there.
I mean, she's clumsy, so it's a possibility, but
this isn't good audio content. But if anyone isn't following the show, do that on the audio podcast you're listening on. It might be Spotify, it might be Apple.
She knocked down one of my stuffed toy animals, which is what that is, basically. I mean, as Dota fans, we know what that is. It's a bunch of Dota stuff behind me. But whenever I talk to people that aren't that, for example, I contacted my voice acting coach. We've been doing online sessions. So that's the first thing that she sees. And I fucking cringe every single time inside. I'm just like, oh God. They just look at that and they just see a bunch of stuffed animals.
I look at
that's all
pledge.
they see.
I mean, here, dude. See?
Yeah.
I have that same fucking IKEA shelf that you do, except mine's a little bit fatter. And there's look, I'm even diversified. I have Hollow Knight characters.
That's adorable.
It's not just. And then we got my Google Home has a little hat and sunglasses. Yeah.
Do you use your Google Home?
Hey Google, bedroom lights to blue.
Wow, that was smooth.
Yeah,
that was smooth.
That's when you know it's gonna be sexy time.
Now you just need that ultrasound technician show up in your room.
Damn it! Why'd you have to? I can't put up with his bullshit anymore. So everybody, watch the show on YouTube. Listen to the show on your podcast player. Tell your friends who play Dota about the show. Join the Side Pull Guild in game. It might actually be full, so you might not be able to. But if you want to, you should let me know because maybe I'll make some room for you. Okay, maybe just get in there on the down low. Have a happy Thanksgiving if you're an American. If you're not an American, I'm sorry that we prioritize our holidays to yours because we're really bad at being globally woke. That being said,
Sure.
You should be happy that you're not in our COVID situation because, spoiler, it's really bad. I am going to go eat a lot of pie on Thursday, preferably key lime, because pumpkin pie is trash. If you disagree with that, you can you can tweet us at Leafeater at Capcasts.
There's still time, Joey. Ellie is making key lime pie. She's making 2 pies, and that is one of them.
Key lime pie.
She's making key lime pie. My mother gave her the recipe. I'm just saying, it's not too late to choose your friends over your family.
What are the odds that you have any key lime pie left come Friday morning?
I will make sure to save a slice for you.
Oh, fuck, that means I have to come. Don't feel bad if you eat all of it.
That's fine.
But if you don't eat all of it...
I will save a slice, and then somebody, either Ellie and I, will eat it the next day if you don't show up.
Good to know. I found out this year I like key lime pie. Never knew that about myself before. You know, sometimes you get older and you still learn stuff about yourself. This year, 2020, I learned, you know what? 1, my hair's wavy. I hate it. 2, key lime pie. I like it. So, you know, life, balance, and all things.